Hi, I'm Ray, call sign G4NSJ. This is my radio workshop. A lot of people have said, could we have a look at your shack? I mean, I don't have amateur radio gear in here, well, apart from the handheld, which is on GB3 Whiskey Oscar. There we are. Mustn't keep firing it up, it annoys people. Oh, hang on, there's someone else fired it up now. No. Someone else just saying, well, I can do that as well. What else do you get for Christmas? Yeah, a lot of people have said, can we have a look at your shack? I don't call it a shack, I call it a radio room. Because as you'll see in the video, it's actually a front bedroom. Well, it was a spare bedroom. There's no bed in it now. There's no room for beds and things like that. Not with all the radio gear. So yes, I mean, half of it is for my radio stuff. The other half is for my wife's stuff. She's got her office desk and all that. So we've kind of got half each. Sometimes bits and pieces from my half kind of encroach on her half, and she'll pick up something, I don't know, a radio, and for example, the other day, a 2-meter mobile transceiver. And she says, what's this? Your microphone hanging down. What's this? Right, yes, sorry, that's over to my half. But there we are. So I'm going to show you around the radio room. Camera, is a bit wobbly here and there as I'm sort of panning round. Is that the right word? Panning round. But so yeah, in response to huge, massive, popular demand, I think about 3 of you, here is the radio room. Right, this is it. Basically, it's a huge dining room table, as you can see. We got that for nothing. Someone wanted to get rid of it. And it's a very sturdy, huge thing. It's about 7 feet long, I think. There's all the gear. Where to start? A couple of Morse keys there. I like the old Morse keys. Scanner and the low HF 150. There's a Watson power supply there. The box on top this is a distribution box, okay, for all the different radios. But also in there I've built a over voltage protection circuit because the Watson doesn't have one. And I did lose a 2-meter radio a couple of years ago. Power supply went wrong, blew up the radio. 2 meters 70 sems, any tone. 4 meters, any tone. That's quite a nice radio. This is a very old Alinco DX70. I use that on 6 meters. It's an HF radio, but I use it on 6 meters. Hold the camera still like that. So yeah, that's dedicated 6. That's an RTTY reader, MFJ multi-reader. I hope these camera angles are okay. I've got that connected to the sorry, not the Anytone, the HF 150, the low communications receiver, so I can receive RTTY weather forecasts and things like that. Yeah, so that's the 2 meter 70 sems. Again, that's the 4 meter radio. I've got, I'll show you in a minute, the microphones. Alinco DX SR8 HF transceiver. Pretty old, but works extremely well. I use that as a sort of secondary HF transceiver. My main HF transceiver is the Kenwood, the TS570D. That I bought brand new, actually. Well, I was going to say it's new now, but it's not. It must be 10-12 years old, with the SEM transmatch on top, which works extremely well. I like this because it's got the Vernier dials here, and you can make an exact note of the settings for each band. SWR meter on top. It's not an Italian one. I ripped all the inside out and rebuilt it. Because it doesn't cover top band, it wouldn't work on top band. So I ripped out the inside and built my own SWR meter inside. That what you hear in the background, I'm just listening to. The scanner is aircraft and shipping, the marine VHF band, which is quite interesting because we've got Shoreham Harbour not far from here. Right, I'll just show you microphones quickly. That's the 2 meter 70 sems, that's 6 meters. That's the 4 meter one. I've got an extension lead for that. That's the Alinco transceiver. That's the desk mic there. is for the Kenwood. I do get mixed up. I've got here a little 2m70 SEMS radio. That I just use for various things. I don't quite know what, it just sits there doing its thing. I sometimes listen to 446 on that. Up here, a couple of power supplies. There's my SWR meter, power meter, the Marconi power meter. There is the 10 meter beacon doing its thing there. 28252, the 10 meter beacon. This is the code generator on top, the Morse code generator. And this seems to have created the most interest. This is the Marconi CR100, which at the moment is tuned to Radio Caroline on 648 kilohertz medium wave.
Harvest, Carolina, and they sound like genuine 100% Southern rock, don't they? Like,
there we are, Radio Caroline. This was completely rebuilt by a chap. I bought it from a chap in where is he? In the New Forest. Drove down there to pick it up. He's completely rebuilt it. He's put in a product detector, a proper product detector for single sideband reception, which works extremely well. He's just basically rebuilt the whole thing. All the numbers on here and here, all this is redone with Letraset. Do you remember Letraset? And all this has been sprayed. It's completely been rebuilt. It's not original now because of this, so I don't know what value it would be, but I'm not interested in financial value. I'm interested in this beautiful looking CR100, and it works extremely well. I use the mini whip aerial on the CR100. I've got it switched between that and the low. There we are, there's someone on 4 meters calling now. So yes, I've got coax switches. Use the mini whip between that and the low communications receiver. What else can I show you? Various handhelds. A box full of junk. So this is a wonderful table. I'm so pleased we got hold of this table. It's just ideal. It's massive. At the back there, piled up, there are some speakers for the various radios. All the aerial cables come in through the ceiling. There are. I said to my wife, just going to make a small hole in the ceiling for some coax. About 8 lumps of coax later, plus the ladder line. We've got a massive hole up there. All my notes on the wall, various frequencies, ATU settings, etc. My notepad. Got a nice view here. Oh, it's too bright to see. There we are. Blue sky over the South Downs. That's why I don't call it the shack. It's actually a front bedroom, spare bedroom, of course. But there we are. A lot of people wanted to have a good look round, so there it is. What else can I show you? That's about it, isn't it? There it is. There's my iPad. I look up QRZ on that to see where people are. Right, I'll just leave you with that final shot. So that's that. Have a look at the aerials. That's the mini whip, the first one, the active antenna right on top of that fishing pole. In the centre there of the 3 aerials, there's the 10 metre aerial. All right, on the left there is the 6 metre aerial. That's actually a tri-band thing. Is it the V2000? And then finally the 4 metre aerial up there. That's the Sirio, the 4 metre aerial. Up on the chimney there is the, what's that, 2 metre 70 SEMS white stick aerial, which does pretty well up there. I'm not sure whether putting that one up on the chimney, that's before I was on 4 and 6 metres. I'm now thinking perhaps 2 metre 70 SEMS could have gone on a pole somewhere and something more interesting on the chimney like 4 metres or 6 metres, but I'm not swapping them round now. It cost me 130 quid for a bloke to go up there and put that one up. Well, and take the old TV aerials down, of course. So yeah, that's it. As I said, I don't have radio gear out here apart from a handheld. Having said that, there's what's this? This was fixed up out here. There's a Linko. There we are, DR605, 2m77s. Quite a nice radio. I know it's old. Most of my gear is old, but it doesn't matter, does it? It works, that's the thing. What else have I got out here? I've got an old CB radio up the top there, and the aerial for that, I don't transmit on it, the aerial for that is just a bit of wire going outside through the window outside. And it's the mids, is it the mids? The EU or European frequencies or whatever channels. And what I do, that comes on with the mains in the workshop. And if I hear Italian women shouting in their bathrooms, echoing in their bathrooms, then I'll think, aha, 10 meters could be open. So then I'll go upstairs. Well, I used to go upstairs to the radio room and have a tune around 10 meters. Of course, I can't do that now because I've got a beacon on 10 meters. And it just, you know, I've tried a separate aerial, and it's only 2.5 watts the beacon, but it just desenses everything else on 10 meters. So I can't operate on 10 meters now. Having said that, you know, people have said, oh, what happens when there's an opening, a bit of sporadic E? You're going to miss out. Well, I'm not, because I'm effectively calling CQ10 all the time with the beacon. So I'm hoping to get reports from you know, all around the world where there's a bit of an opening. So I won't miss out on the DX. It's just that I won't be able to chat to people. I'm hoping to get reports so I can say, oh, I worked Spain the other day. Well, I kind of did, didn't I? If that happened, I can say that I kind of did work Spain because someone there heard the beacon and emailed me. So there we are. That's that. Yeah, look at that frame aerial. I made that. I use that for some of the vintage radios I restore, because when you take the chassis out of the cabinet, the frame aerial is inside the cabinet itself. So I just use that, which works extremely well. Talking of aerials, for HF I've got a doublet, cut for 80 meters, fed with 300 ohm ladder line. Oh, by the way, the ladder line where it came in with all the coax, I've got to change that. I don't want the ladder line bunched up with 8 lengths of coax. So I'm going to make a separate hole in the ceiling for that. Yes. Now that table, I keep on about that table. When I say we found it, my wife found it for me, which is brilliant. When I first saw it, I said to her, that's much too big. Now I need a second table. Under the bench here, I've got a 19 set. I've got a PCR receiver. I've got various things in the loft. And it would be great if I could just kind of ease her out of the room, her half, ease her out, and have another big table the other side for all my other gear. But I can't do that. But the doublet, you may have seen, have a look at the little picture again, the video. That pole there, that was a Ringo Ranger for 2 meters many years ago. It fell apart, and that now supports the middle of the doublet. So that's quite useful. And to get up there, I use a fishing pole. You know, one of these sort of 30-foot fishing poles with a kind of V thing on the end, so I can unhook the centre of the doublet and bring that down if I need to do anything to it. So yes, plenty of aerials around. In the loft I've got an aerial for the scanner. I've got another 70 SEMS aerial for that little radio I showed you. I normally listen on 446 or just have it scanning various interesting things. Various things such as PMR stuff that's going on. There's not a lot anymore. All the taxis have gone. They all use their phones. AA, RAC, all the, you know, the electricity board, gas board, water board, they all had radios in their vehicles, and the base station, of course, it's all gone. Fire brigade, I don't know where they are now. The police are on this, what is it, Tetra? Fire brigade are gone. They were near 4 meters, weren't they, on 70 something megs, 71 megs. It's all gone, but there are still interesting things to listen to. Even on the marine band, I was just tuning around last night on upper sideband, and 2225 kilohertz, 2225 kilohertz, very loud signal, upper sideband. English chap, really loud, really strong signal, giving out not weather forecasts but information for the North Sea and the seas around Scotland. Aberdeen radio, fantastic, 2225 kilohertz. Fantastic signal, Aberdeen radio. On 1925 kilohertz there's Humber radio, there's Ostend, they're still going. What else was it? Can't remember, there's several of them still going. So yeah, quite interesting. On VHF, of course, you've got all the marine stuff, but down on 2 to 3 megs, there's still a lot of stuff. 2182, remember that, the old calling and distress, that is still going. Upper sideband, leave it on there, leave your receiver on 2182 for a while, and you will hear one or two things. Not like the old days where it was constant traffic. You know, Knighton Radio, Isle of Wight used to belt in here. Brilliant stuff. Happy days. AM, of course, back then. Anyway, I'm going to start waffling now. I'm going to do about an hour now of waffle when I was a boy. But they were good days. They were really good days on shortwave listening and tuning around amateur bands, broadcast bands, outside the amateur and broadcast bands, listening to the military, marine, all sorts of things going on. There we are. Right, I won't bore you. Thanks for watching as always. I shall see you next time. Bye bye for now.